Hey, Catherine.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday.
Yeah, have you had a good week, honey?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I finished up a big quilting project I was working on for somebody, so that's good.
Oh my gosh, that's very cool. Do you still have it?
The quilt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh my
do, but
gosh.
I'm not at home right now, so I can't really show it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Wow. So what else did you get up to this week?
Oh, what else? Mm, not, not a whole lot, really. I'm trying to remember what I did. I know I did stuff, but I don't know exactly what. I did more journaling this week.
Amazing. Good for you, honey. Very good. Hello, Leanne. Welcome.
Hi,
How are you?
I am okay, thank you. Oh, I'm just adjusting my volume here. Is that okay?
Yes, that's good. That's good.
Sorry, I had just messaged Victoria because I didn't receive the email.
Oh, you didn't?
No. So she just sent me the link.
Huh, let me
Yeah.
check. Was that
I
me?
received the one from Charlotte this morning saying that she was ill.
Yeah, and I just responded to it. Let me have a look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, you're on it. I wonder if it went into your spam, honey.
Oh, you know what? I bet you it did. Let me check. I bet you any money. Yep, there it is.
Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna have to look for that. Okay, I'm here.
Yay, how are you, Leanne?
I'm doing well, thank you. I've got a lot on my plate this week. Things are progressing along, so I'm really being shown who I'm made of.
Okay.
And the courses, are definitely affecting me in a positive way, helping me to stay strong and know that I have to fight for myself here. I have to stand up for myself and many others.
Wow.
So I'm prepared.
Good, good, good for you. I
Yeah.
was talking with Catherine. She just finished a huge quilting project this week.
Oh, very nice. What did you make?
You're on mute, honey.
Oh,
Yeah, I put it on mute so that I can hear other people better. But yeah, the quilt is a rail fence design, so the way that it works out with the blocks, it makes kind of a zigzag pattern with
mm-hmm.
the outside strips, and it's big enough to fit a double bed, and
Nice.
that a client is giving to his sister for Christmas. So she's getting a really nice Christmas present.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Very nice. Good for you.
Yeah, I'll be posting photos of it on my Facebook page, so you'll probably see it there.
That's
Very nice.
fantastic. Wow, you're
Yeah,
so talented, Catherine.
Yes.
yeah, I surprise myself sometimes. I'm
Good.
like, wow, I didn't talk about
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Um, Catherine, I know we're trying to book you for because Leanne, did you get my email? I want to start doing videos with all of you guys.
Yes, I did.
So I want to start introducing you. I know right now, Leanne, you probably will wait until the new year for you.
Thank you so
Everything
much.
we're going through. Is that your dog, Leanne?
It's not my dog.
It's mine.
Oh,
Oh,
Victoria, I didn't even know you were here. Hi.
I know. I don't know what's going on, why you can't see me.
Down in the left-hand corner, you might have to click the video, like the little video camera. Oh, there you are. Oh, nope, now you're gone. Oh, I think you're coming. There you are. Woohoo! Hi, Victoria. I'm like, oh my God, I hear.
Hello. I was here for a while, but I guess
Oh,
that thing was shut off.
yeah.
So I was trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome, welcome.
Thank
Also,
you.
Victoria, thank you so much for that heads up about that person that somehow got into the army. Um, I know I've deleted him. Did anyone else get approached by him?
I did as well.
Yeah, so did I. Literally, probably within an hour after talking with Victoria, he sent me a note.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Scary, eh?
Yes, it is. Very much
And
so.
he's probably approaching other people in the army too, unfortunately.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Mm,
Wow. I'm wondering if maybe I should post something. Please delete. And
yeah, you know what though, Heidi? You know what he'll do? He'll just get another profile and come back. That's the
you think?
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, these guys are very sneaky. I wouldn't doubt it that they would do that.
yeah, you may be right.
Mm,
Maybe what I'll do then is instead of posting his name, I'll just post something that there has been someone that has been emailing everyone. I don't want to post this person's name.
Hmm.
But if you have and you have any concerns or whatever, like don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will let you know who it is then.
that might be a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because he may come back as somebody else.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
might scare him away if I do that.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
my last note to him was maybe you should talk to the police. So I don't think he's going to contact me again.
Woohoo, Victoria!
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I have a police emblem too because my daughter got me a sweatshirt with the police emblem. I've used that before too.
Oh, wow. Oh my God, that's amazing.
oh.
Yeah, I don't know, but I did report it to Facebook.
Okay, good.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I reported it, but I haven't heard anything from them, and I doubt I will, but I did report it to them.
Good, good. No,
Yeah,
I think that's really great. Victoria, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing okay. I'm
Yeah.
doing, yeah, better than last week. The cold is almost gone. I just got a bit of a cough here and there, but it's not
Mhm.
like it was last week.
Well, it sounds like it's taken down poor Charlotte today.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I think it's riding in those planes at this time of the year or
Oh,
something.
I thought the exact same thing because I have to tell you, it seems like every time I go on any flight whatsoever, I always end up sick.
And it's not just the flight, like a lot of these hotels have no windows or anything, so the air
Mhm.
in there is really stale. It's not like
Mhm.
fresh air, right? So I know I picked mine up while I was already in Vegas before got back, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, I don't know if Janelle and Joanne are going to be joining us. Hopefully they will. I did hear from Janelle. I haven't heard from Joanne, and I reached out to her this week. Has anyone else heard from Joanne?
Heidi, I don't know because she's closed her Facebook account or deactivated it right now, and I tried to send her a message and I
What?
haven't, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I
Oh.
didn't even realize. Okay, well, I will definitely text her and find out what's going on.
So I sent her a message on Facebook, but she didn't reply to my
Yeah, see,
message.
I did as well. I sent her a message on Facebook. I didn't realize. When did you discover that?
About 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
wow.
I sent her a note as well. So you know what? I'm going to text her and find out what's going on with her. Oh my goodness. Yeah, because I sent her a note on Thursday through Facebook and I didn't hear anything back.
Hmm.
Okay, so I've just texted her. So um, I should hear. She generally gets back to me pretty quickly. So, anyways, how crazy is this that we're talking about that person that approached us all on Facebook? And Leanne, I feel like with a lot of stuff that you're going through right now, we're talking about negative, toxic people today.
Oh, yes. I was looking forward to this one.
Yes. I did this workshop with Mia on Thursday. So, and it ended up coming out to be a really great conversation, because I feel with this particular one, every single one of us has had one or more of these types of personalities that have come into our world. And we've either had a hard time ending those relationships, or, you know, they've ended on in a really bad way, sometimes, you know, with big arguments and everything else, or maybe you still have these people in your world. And so it's about becoming extremely aware of exactly who these people are. Because at the end of the day, we all want happy relationships. We all want healthy relationships. I'm also not talking about people. Today, we are not talking about people that have bad days. We're also not talking about people that we all have those relationships with people where it's like, you know, you're having a bad day and you need to bitch, or you need to vent, or you need to whatever. That is a bad day. And that is just you're going through something. That is not a toxic relationship. Toxic relationships are very different from that. And the thing is we've all encountered all of these people that, you know, negative Nancy, as they call them. And I always love the whole Eeyore sort of person, you know, that person that is always negative. While you know these types of people are no fun to be around, what you might not realize is that they can actually have an incredibly negative effect on your health and your success. And sometimes people don't even realize that. I'm going through that right now, not myself, but I do have a very dear friend who is going through like an incredible health problems because of a toxic person in their life. And as we know, we learned when we took the leadership program together that everything, all that energy, all those thoughts, all that stuff that comes into our world changes us on a cellular level. I'm going to show you this book that I have. So some of you may know Louise Hay. Do any of you know of Louise Hay, Hay Publishing? Brilliant, brilliant woman. She actually just passed away this year. But she wrote this particular book, and it's called Heal Your Body A to Z. And in this book, every single ailment that shows up in our body has come from our own thoughts in our mind. And so when you read it and you go through this, and it's like, you know, so for instance, let me just find something. Okay, so foot problems. Here's a simple one. If someone wants to have foot problems, they say that foot problems come from the fear of the future and not stepping forward in your life. So those ailments come in because of those thoughts that we're having. And then the greatest thing is in this book, then it talks about what affirmations you need to bring into your life to get rid of it. So I move forward in life with joy and ease. So any sort of ailment, and honestly, we can even sit here if you guys want to. And if you have something physically that's showing up in your body, I will look it up for you and tell you what you're going through. Because I did that with a girlfriend today, and she's going through some really hard kidney problems. Really hard kidney problems. And I know this toxic person that she has in her life. And I looked it up and I said, you know, I want to read this to you, what kidney problems are. And kidney problems come from criticism, shame. I think it was criticism, shame, and fear. And this is where it comes from. And this person that's in her life is that person. And she started to cry on the phone. And I said, you know, like, you know, everything that shows up into our life, everything that is affecting us, it's going to affect us on a cellular level. It truly, truly does. And so having these toxic people in your life, and why I feel this one is so incredibly important today, is because it can weaken your immune system. It can make you more prone to illness, susceptible to heart attacks and stroke. All of these things, like these negative attitudes, these people that are in your life can affect your intelligence, your ability to think. They're going to compromise your neurons in your hippocampus, an important area of the brain necessary for reasoning and memory, from a toxic human being in your life. And that's what's so hard. And so that's why it's really important to understand if you have that person in your life. Is that person having a bad day, or is that person a toxic relationship? So how do you tell the difference? Catherine, are you okay, sweetie? Yeah? Okay, good, good. You let me know, okay, honey? I'm actually just getting some energy off of you, and I'm wondering if something's affecting you right now. You're on mute, sweetie.
Oh, yeah. I'm just tired today. I had a big day yesterday.
You had a big day yesterday? Okay, perfect. Okay. I just want to make sure you let me know, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So these people that are in our lives, these are great questions to ask yourself. Is this just someone that's just, going through a thing, or are they a toxic relationship? So how does this person make you feel? So the moment you think of them, you're going to see them. Do you become anxious, fearful, or extremely stressed? Are those things bubbling up inside you? How does this person affect your thinking? Can you think clearly, or does thinking become foggy and unclear? All of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, like what they're putting in my life, I just can't seem to get my thoughts together. Like I just can't seem to get there. Or you're at a loss of words. I find with myself, as most of you probably know, I am an empath. So an empath is someone that feels other people's emotions. I am not psychic. I do not have that ability or anything else, but I 100% feel other people's emotions. And for me, when a toxic person comes into my realm, I actually am at a loss for words. And all of you know, I love to talk. I am never at a loss of words. And yet when that toxic energy comes into my world, it's like I just can't seem to put words together. And I had to do quite a bit of research on this to understand why all of a sudden it was like, I didn't know the questions to ask. I didn't know the conversations to bring up. Why was I feeling this way? And from doing research, I found out that is what happens. Well, all of a sudden that toxic energy comes in, and it fogs up your brain. It really does, because that energy is so powerful. How does this person change your perspective of how you feel or think about you? So does this person all of a sudden change your viewpoints? Like if you are this positive human being, but is this person changing how you should think? Are they affecting that in you? Do you want to spend time with this person or just run away? And we all know those people where it's like you just can't get away from them fast enough. If you are feeling that way, this is not a healthy relationship to be in. And does this person make you feel like you have to continually be changing who you are? And I've had people like that in my life where it's like, to be around them, I had to be someone different instead of me. And that's not good at all. And of course, does this person just blame everyone for their current situation? Are you with them and it's like you're to blame, their job's to blame, their parents are to blame, the weather's to blame, the traffic's to blame, whatever it is, are you finding that every single time you're with this person, that's all you hear? So I'd love to hear from you guys. Have you encountered these feelings with different people at one time or another in your life? Victoria.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Leanne, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And many, because I am an empath as well. And it's once they're in my circle, I can't help. I try to block. I try to work on the power of blocking, but it's like I'm like a sponge and I absorb it and I take on their emotion and I carry that. But just as you were talking, like I was reflecting, it's so much like my marriage. That's exactly how it was. And dealing with this situation at work, it's very hard because, again, like this workshop's really hitting me because just being in that atmosphere, 40 hours a week, and it's like to the point where I felt like I was going crazy. Yeah. So my biggest challenge this week is things are happening, they're progressing, they're pushing back, now they want to move me.
Wow.
Exactly. I knew that was coming. But
it could be a good thing. Always shift your perspective, Leanne, because
absolutely.
I do feel when things happen and we don't understand, like, why am I going to be moved? I love the people I'm working with. I love this, but maybe your path is for something completely different.
100%
to get there.
Exactly. But the only problem is in this situation, if I agree to do that, it's going to band-aid the whole situation. And this is where my strength has to come in and fight and say no.
Okay.
I'm not accepting that because they just want to put it, they just want to sweep this under the rug. And it's too far gone now. So now how I'm looking at this, no matter what happens, I know I'm going to be okay. I am grateful that I was chosen to take this step because it's going to open many, many doors for many other people to come forward.
Yes.
And I'm walking in faith and I don't care what happens because I know I'm going to be okay no matter what. And maybe higher power is trying to move me right out of that field. Who knows? But it's each little step I'm taking and I'm trying to do it. But just being away from that atmosphere, it's been almost 4 weeks and I feel like a totally different person. I feel amazing.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Victoria, what about you? I know you struggled with your mom. That was a hard relationship for you.
Well, it was hard because it didn't matter what I did. It was never good enough for her. And unless she could control me, which I wouldn't allow her to do, I was always the rotten one because I wouldn't do what she wanted. So it was always really hard.
That's an amazing awareness, though, that you knew that. It's like you could see that that wasn't right.
Yeah. And it was really hard. Like, it was because it didn't matter what I did. Even before she died, she was still harping on the fact that I had left home when I was 18. It's true.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, like she kept saying, you left home at 18, and oh my God. And afterwards, too, I was very careful with her because I knew that you had to be careful. Like, if she wanted to give you anything, everything came with strings. And it was one of the things my husband and I used to argue about because I kept saying, no, I'm not taking anything because I don't want her having it hung over my head. Because it's a control thing with her.
Yes.
Like, she is doing it out of her heart, but for some reason, it's a way of her trying to control you.
It is. It's manipulation is what it is. It's full manipulation. And that awareness, Victoria, you need to be very proud of that. Knowing that, every act, even though like she felt it was coming from a place of love, you knew exactly what it was. You could see it for what it was. And always be very proud of that. And because something like that you learned is always going to benefit you in all relationships going forward.
But I see that in my whole family too, because I have 3 sisters and every one of them is a leader, strong, because my mother was a very strong individual. But at the same time, most of them, unless they're in control of the situation, they get angry and they start lashing out.
Yes, 100%. We're going to talk about a lot of that today. Catherine, what about you, honey? Is anything ringing true for you?
Well, last week I went to a breakfast meeting for safety professionals, and it was the day when there was a snowstorm. So hardly any people showed up, and I was mentioning to someone that I'm glad I have this to come to today, even though it's snowing outside. And they said, why is that? I said, oh, just because I don't have much opportunity to get out these days. And she just said, oh, okay. And then someone sitting next to me says, well, there's a flip side of that. You could be like me and traveling all the time. And then he proceeded to complain about an incident on an aircraft that with somebody who took up too much space and how the airline didn't do enough about it and too much baggage and coming on the plane. And I thought, geez, I didn't realize that I was complaining, and it seemed like somehow he took the opportunity to tell the story that he's probably told 100 times.
Yes.
Bad experience. And then everyone else is saying, I never had that problem. So that was just something like somebody who sees, to me, they see maybe a particular topic as being negative, and they'll always see it that way. They might not see other things that way, but no matter what, they're always going to choose the negative side of it.
So someone like that, we're going to talk about that particular person. I have to tell you that is a victim. that toxic individual is a victim person. And so they are always the victim of every single scenario. And that's where that comes from. Oh my gosh, Catherine, thank you so much for sharing that. That is like dead on something we're going to be talking about. And I love that you saw it. Like, I love that you're just like, do you guys find now with everything that we're doing and everything that you're learning that you're starting to see the world with different eyes? You're starting to see the world, like feel the world in a different way. It's like you're so aware of, oh, I know exactly what that is that you're doing there. I understand you more than you realize how much I understand you. So Catherine, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, honey. Wow. Okay, so let's talk about these toxic people, because on one end, of course, we need to remember there's your old friend, say from high school, who won't shut up, say about you don't spend enough time together. Whereas on the other end, there's, say, your ex-partner or your mother or whatever it is that's capable of manipulating you out of, say, fits of rage. So your friend might be frustrating. Okay, so she may be a little frustrating, maybe a little annoying, but your ex-partner is probably toxic. So we need to see the differences from that, okay? So that girlfriend is just a little annoying, and sometimes people are. And just because someone is annoying or frustrating doesn't mean that they're toxic, okay? So we're gonna go through a few classic signs of toxic people. Okay, so, and Victoria, I feel like you're really going to relate to this, especially when it comes to your mom. Leanne, the same way. Toxic people who try to control you all the time. Strange as it might sound, people who aren't in control of their own lives. This is where this comes from. And a lot of people are always saying, you know, they just want to control me all the time. This comes from a lack of self-confidence in controlling their own lives. Okay, the toxic look for ways to control others, either through overt methods or subtle manipulation, which Victoria, you just told us, a classic sign of a toxic human being. They will manipulate the situation by trying to control you. There's toxic people that disregard your boundaries. Boundaries are extremely important. We learned that when we went through the leadership program, how important those boundaries are. If you're always telling someone to stop behaving a certain way, they will, and they only continue, that person is probably toxic. So Mia brought up a really great point. She told me about one of her sisters, and one of her sisters continually puts her and her husband down, or, you know, says really, you know, rude comments to her. And Mia has put her hand up and said, excuse me, but you are not allowed to treat me that way. You're not allowed to say things like that. Please do not do that. And over again, her sister keeps crossing that line. And Mia continually has to keep saying to her, like, that is not okay. Those comments about myself, my husband, my children, my job, my house, whatever it is, you're not allowed to say those. So it's those people that constantly push those boundaries on you. And you know exactly who those people are. And a lot of times, this particular one comes from family, relationships, anything like that, where they're always trying to push those boundaries. Or maybe you tell someone, you know, this is a classic one where you'll say to someone, you know, this particular thing, when you do that, really pushes my buttons. I would really prefer that you didn't do that. And then what do they do the next time they see you? They do that exact same thing. That is manipulation. 100% manipulation, okay? Toxic people take without giving. I mean, how many people have we all had in our lives where you give and you give and you give, because all of you are beautiful human beings here, and you give so much. You are the first person to be there for them, the first person to call them when they're sick, or, you know, like, if they need a ride or they need a favor, you're constantly there for them. But the moment something in your life comes up, where are they? Where are those human beings? And I've had those. And what happens in a lot of cases is for people that are beautiful people like the three of you here right now, you are not toxic human beings at all. With people like us, what ends up happening is these takers, we don't notice how much they're taking, because number one, I know fully, I love to give. It is one of my favorite things in the world, is to give whatever I can to people. And it's only when a crisis occurs that all of a sudden people like ourselves go, wait a minute, where are all my friends? Where are all the people that I'm always there for? Where are they? And in some cases, individuals like us, when we go through a crisis, all of a sudden lose friendships, or we start to distance ourselves because it's all of a sudden, it's like bright neon lights in front of us. Where are they? And that's why a lot of times, anyone that is such a giver, a crisis can be even harder for us, because people truly show us who they are. And that's when the toxic people show, like, we see them for exactly what they are. So that's a big one. Toxic people are always right. This is a huge one. Like I've had this with my mother. My mother always, there was like, she was never wrong. I'm going to tell my mother loved to use bleach when I was a kid. For some reason, she liked to just, like, she always used bleach constantly. And you know, you'd get that new pair of jeans or that new top, and all of a sudden there's a bleach splash on it. And I would say to my mom, look, like, you ruined my top. Like, oh my gosh, stop with the bleach. Like, stop it. She could be holding the bleach bottle in her hand, and she'd say, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't use bleach. I'd be like, you have it in your hand. It's right there. Like, there's the bleach. And she'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you must have done it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so you go crazy. You go absolutely crazy with these people, because they always have to be right. It's their pride. It's their ego steps in. And that is more powerful and more important than your feelings, ever, always. Okay. You guys all know those people. Toxic people, of course. I mean, they're never honest. I mean, seriously, at the end of the day, I think we all know that one. It's glaringly true that they are generally people that are just not going to be honest. They repeat patterns of dishonesty on a regular basis, to a point where it's not the big lie. I'm not even talking about the big lie. It's like they can't even, they just don't have the capability to tell the truth. The little white lies. The problem with multiple little white lies is they add up to big ones. Okay, so that's definitely. And then, of course, Victoria, I brought this up. Toxic people love to be the victim. The toxic reveal in being a victim of the world. They are such a victim of the world. They seek to find ways to feel oppressed. They seek them out to feel oppressed, put down, and marginalized in ways that they are clearly not. This might take the form of, we talked about this, excuses, rationalizations, or out and out blaming. So Catherine, exactly what you said. That person on that flight is the victim. They are always the victim in their life. And toxic people don't take responsibility. They just don't. Just like my mother standing there with the bleach, she's not taking responsibility ever. Part of the victim mentality comes from a desire to avoid responsibility. When the world is perpetually against them, their choices and actions can't possibly be responsible for the quality of their life. It's just the way things are. So, of course, all of you are probably like, oh my gosh, thinking of one name after another of all of these people that show up in your life. And the thing is, they're going to be there. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, cut every single human being out that has one of these traits. It's not about that. It's actually recognizing who these people are, and then putting in tools that you can relate to these people in a better way. Okay, so recognizing the specific toxic relationship. So I like to put names to these things, because that's what you guys are going to end up starting to do. These people that show up, you need to understand them. When you can understand someone, you can put boundaries and tools into place to deal with them. Okay, so the convenient friend, you guys all know this one. They invest time in people who generally want to be around you. Don't allow anyone who selfishly wants you to take time from your schedule only when it's convenient for them. So these are the people that, honestly, it's like when you call them, they're never available. It's never on your time. It always has to be on their time every single step of the way. And I, in a lot of ways, feel sorry for people that are in the dating world right now, because there's a lot of toxic people out there that they manipulate these early relationships with, you just need to be available whenever they are. So it's like, you know, those people where it's like, no, 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 I can't make plans because so and so might call and then want to get together. It's like, that is actually a toxic relationship. That is full manipulation, full manipulation. So check with these people. Check in. If you find time and time again, one of our Creative Core founders, Ashley, has this particular friend, and every single time with this friend, she will call her and say, you know, can we get together on Friday night? And she'll say, no, 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 I'm not available. Or, you know, like Fridays, I'm just too tired, so I can't get together on Fridays. But, you know, Saturday's best for me. And Ashley would say, yeah, no, I get it. But like, listen, like, we don't have to do anything crazy. Let's just get together. You know, we can even just like be in our comfy clothes or just go to the movies or whatever. And she's like, no, no. So it's always like, Ashley is never allowed to make plans with her unless it's convenient for this human being. And so she finally had that difficult conversation with her and had to say, like, listen, this is what this is. You know, and then it's up to that person if that person's going to shift and change and realize just how important Ashley is in her life. So, but it was a huge awareness for Ashley to go, oh my gosh, she's the convenient friend. She really is. Okay, the envy friend. Oh, this person is someone that is always going to be envious of you. Generally speaking, these friends want what you have instead of valuing your friendship. So they look at your life and they're constantly comparing themselves always to you. The thing is these people are never, ever going to be proud of you. They are never going to celebrate your success. If anything, they will try to manipulate the situation and make it about themselves. So it's, you know, all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I just got this promotion at work. I just had this amazing thing happen. And this person will be like, oh, well, isn't that just great for you? Well, oh my goodness, you know, guess what happened in my life, or what tragedy or what victim mode I'm in or whatever it is. It's like they can never make it about you. This is an extremely unhealthy relationship. With this particular relationship, what ends up happening is you in turn start to change who you are, because all of a sudden with this person, you don't celebrate the amazing things in your life. You feel guilty that something fantastic has happened in your life because this person is making you feel that way, is making you feel bad because successes have happened in your life. Life is supposed to be celebrated with the people that are in it. They're not supposed to be putting us down because something incredible has happened to us. This is very, very destructive behavior. It is. And in a lot of cases, with people like ourselves that are such givers, we will put our life on the back burner. A lot of moms do this. A lot of moms, you know, we're always just back here and we're raising everyone else up here. Well, what about us, right? So it's like, if you can't celebrate the successes and the amazing things in your life with the people that say that they are important in your life, you are important to them, you need to start realizing that this is not a healthy relationship. Okay? It really isn't. The change maker. This happens a lot when couples get together and it's someone tries to change the other person. If that person can't accept you for who you are as a person, why are you there? Why is it you are only worthy if you become whatever they want you to be? You have to hold on to the individual that you are inside, because that's who you are. You're supposed to be loved for who you are. Now, I'm not talking about minor little changes here and there, you know, with people that come together in a relationship. And for you to be in a relationship, there is more give and take. You know, maybe it's like, you know, if someone says, you know, like, I really feel like your patience is just a little off the charts. Like, maybe you should try, you know, implementing patience. These are things of growth. These are not, you must change for me to like you, for me to want to have you in my life. So make sure you know the differences from someone who's constantly trying to change exactly who you are, or is this person someone that is trying to help you with growth? Okay, so that's a definite difference. Of course, the liar. We all know the liar. We set that up with the traits just a few minutes ago. Those people that are continually lying in your life, this is like if one lie after another, you're never going to be able to trust this human being. That is an extremely unhealthy, toxic relationship, not one to have. Because what ends up happening is you accept the lies that hopefully one day it will get better and they won't have to do that. So make sure you're not making excuses for this particular person. The criticizer. Okay, this a lot of times, Catherine, I just saw your eyebrows go up. It's like, yep. This sometimes comes from parents. Victoria, I think we definitely know that one from your mom. The criticizer, they are always telling you what is wrong with you. They are never lifting you up. They are continually putting you down. This is the most toxic relationship. That person that just, they take it upon themselves and then they say, well, I'm only telling you this for you to get better. It's like, then why don't you tell me something that's great about me? You know? So it's just, I remember my mom, and it's really funny. So I've worn glasses. I've had bad vision since I was 12 years old. 12 years old, I started wearing glasses. And so, of course, when I was a kid, I would wear my glasses and that. When I got into high school, of course, you know, as a girl especially, you go through that whole vein thing. And it's like, I wouldn't be caught dead in my glasses. And I would wear contacts all the time. And so I would wear contacts. So then there's been, so all the way through high school, I wore contacts. And then what ended up happening is then as I started to become an adult, I just got more comfortable wearing my glasses than wearing contact lenses all the time. It was just such a bother. And so I just really love to wear my glasses. And my mother would say to me, and I would only generally wear, and still to this day, to tell you the truth, I hardly wear my contacts ever now. But my mother would always say to me, oh, you're going to go and do that. Oh, you're going to go and see those people. You know, make sure that you don't wear your glasses. You know, make sure you wear your contact lenses. You're much prettier without your glasses. And I'd say, I'm much prettier without my glasses. And I find it so funny that like those words, those constant things, you know, she would criticize all the time with saying things like that. And I would say, Mom, you can't say things like that to someone. Like you can't say those words. And she'd say, Heidi, I'm just doing this for your own good. I want you to make a good first impression. I'm like, make a good first impression? I don't think my glasses or contacts are doing that. You know what I mean? So, and I find it ironic now that I hardly ever wear my contacts. And I love my glasses. I am a person that thoroughly loves to wear them. So, but yes, it's like the criticizer that is continually trying to put you down in this place. But of course, it's for your own good. And then the victim. I mean, this one, we've now talked about this a number of times. They blame the world for everything, and they will always be that victim. The thing is this victimhood is their choice. It is 100% their choice. And what happens is with a victim, they are this one is a very, very difficult for people, because what happens is if you are a very, very giving person, you will get trapped into the victim's world very easily. But the thing is with a victim, and now I want to make sure that I point out that there are people that are going through something and they are a victim. That is not the toxic person I'm talking about. Sometimes people are going through stuff and they will talk about it. But as long as when they're in that victim state because they've been through a tragedy, that they are pulling themselves out of it. That when they talk and you offer advice or you're helping them, that it's like, you know, they're saying things like, you know what, I know in 24 hours this is going to be better. You know, I know that, you know, I'm going to go and seek some help. I'm going to go see my doctor. I'm going to, you know, like take care of my finances and get them organized to get myself out of this financial state. If they are working towards getting themselves out of that victimhood, that is not a toxic person. The toxic person is someone that is always there. And every time you say, you know what, I feel like if you just sat down and really organized your finances, that you could probably get out of this mess. And their response is always, no, 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 you don't understand. You don't understand. Like, this is where I'm at. I'm never going to get out of that because of this, because of this, because of this, because of this. If they are that person, that is the toxic person that I am talking about. Okay. So there's definitely a difference there. Okay. So all of you have, how many of those people have you had in your life? Do you still have in your life? Who are those people, right? Does everyone still have people like that in their life now? Put your hands up. I do. Yep, all of us. And it's being aware of exactly who these people are. So now I want to talk about the signs, okay, that you're giving toxic people too much power. So now you have this awareness. You have this awareness as to who they are. You know who the change maker is, the convenient one. You know the victim. You know who they are. But having them in your life is one thing, but how much power are you giving them? Okay. So if you talk about them a lot, if you are continually talking about, so you're venting your frustrations doesn't release your anger. In fact, studies show that venting adds fuel to the fire. The more you talk about someone's annoying habits, rude behavior, or offensive comments, the more power that person claims over your life. So if you are continually talking about this person, you are always talking about, and you know what? It's kind of funny. I'm going to tell you a personal story that literally just happened this weekend. So Friday night, I have been dealing with some girlfriends that I've had in my life for years and years and years and years and years. And there's like a number, there's like 5 of us that are very close. And 2 years ago, you all know that I went through that breakthrough, positive people army. And so I've gone through this massive change of growth in myself, and have met the most incredible, beautiful human beings, 3 of you being some of them. And so all of these changes happen. And my friends that have been in my life for a very long time they're all of a sudden not showing up. They're not showing up into my life anymore. And so like in the beginning, I was sharing so much with them, sharing all the successes, sharing all the amazing things, sharing the growth that I was going through, sharing all these beautiful changes that were happening in me. And more, they all started to disappear. And so over the last number of months, I have been talking about this. I've been talking, and I've been, like, I just don't understand it. Like, like, where are they and why aren't they showing up? And like, I just, and so I'm complaining of how they're treating me. And Friday night, Mike said to me, Heidi, I think you need to start. And I was like, what? He's like, you know who these people are. They have not been showing up in your life, and you're continually bringing up the same story over and over again. And he's like, you are someone that is giving them power. They are showing up as toxic people right now in your world, and you're giving them power. We've literally sat here for the last hour on a Friday night during dinner talking about how these people are negatively affecting your world. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, wow. See, it doesn't, like, even I have to be reminded sometimes that it's like, wow, like, I'm giving them the power and it's not right. So yay to Mike. He's so fantastic. He actually does listen to stuff I say and give it back to me. He's teaching the teacher.
I love it.
You need to have those people do that. So I want you to, when you have those moments, when you feel it's like you're complaining over and over and over and over again about the same relationship, maybe it's time to let go of that relationship, or just understand that that's the way they are, and then stop letting them take power from you. Okay, you think about them a lot when they're not around. So this one's hard. You know that when a circumstance has happened with them, an argument, a conversation, a criticism, whatever it is, and what happens is you're rehashing it, you're replaying it over and over and over. And you know what that does. When you replay that and rehash it in your mind, you generally get angrier, more frustrated. All of a sudden, it's like that one conversation with that toxic person has not only affected you in the moment that you had it with them, but now how many days after? How many hours after? How many weeks after are you still rehashing that same thing in your head? Your mother, Victoria, is a classic person. She's still rehashing. You moved out at 18 years old. It's like, you haven't been 18 for quite a while now. It's like, let it go. You know what I mean? It's like, we've all moved on. We're all fine. You know, so it's like, what is that person? How much power are they taking when they're not even there? They're not even in front of you. And you are allowing that toxic behavior to affect you when you could be doing or thinking about so many other things, or reading a book, or watching a great show, or visiting another friend that actually appreciates you, okay? You allow them to limit your life. So these are people, so saying things like, my family is holding a party and it gets ruined every time because my brother is there. So what happens is you have to be aware of the conclusions you draw about how much impact someone has over you. Okay, so if that person is limiting your life, so you know going to that, it's like, oh my gosh, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be really awful. They're putting limits and you're allowing it. You already know going into it that that's what it's going to be, and yet you're allowing it. And this does show up in families a lot. And that's why I brought up the whole thing. My brother's going to be there. I know with one of my sisters, my sister Leah, oh my gosh, like that woman would walk in a room and I swear to God, all the plants, everything would just die. Like her toxic energy, like crazy, like just so bad. And like the stuff that would come out of her mouth, you would just be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. Like really awful things. So I knew this with my sister Leah, and I knew the way she made me feel every single time I was in her presence. And so what would happen is I would then put time limits that I would go in. I would only give a half an hour. I would not tolerate or, you know, give into whatever she was doing, and I would leave, or I would just not go. I would say, you know, thank you so much for the invitation. We're not able to make it today. Okay. Okay. So you let them control your emotions. Okay, so getting frustrated or feeling angry by someone else's inappropriate behavior. Leanne, are you okay, Angel?
Oh, I'm good. Yes, just really digesting it.
Yes, it's a lot. I know, it's really a lot.
It's good, yes.
You know that person where they control your emotions, where it's like you know it's going to put butterflies in your stomach. It's going to trigger whatever it is in you. So you let them do that. You hand it over to them. And you know, when your mother says that one thing, or your friend or whatever, and it's like right away you can feel yourself get angry. Right away something is going to happen. So you're letting them do that. You allow them to negatively influence your behavior. And this one is, if you can't beat them, join them. So you start to that negative person, and you let yourself get drawn into it. And then you start becoming the person that's, you know, join on. Yes, that is wrong. I'm going to complain about that too. Blah, blah. It's like, it's like, what am I doing? I don't believe that. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you hear the words coming out of your mouth and you're like, that's not how I feel. Why am I saying that? Like, why am I doing this? It's almost like they're controlling what you're saying, because what ends up happening is maybe it's you want to be accepted. So you just kind of join in. You know, a lot of times it's that your own self-confidence that it's just like, I don't want to go against what they're saying. You know what? In a situation like that, you don't have to say anything at all. You really don't. Okay? You really, really don't. So I want you guys to recognize the traits that make people easy prey. Okay? So, you know, and when I say that, it's almost like these toxic people are big bad lions that are going to eat us up and that's it. But the end of the day, they kind of are, because they can dismantle our lives. They can affect us. They can lower our self-esteem, lower our self-confidence, make us make choices that we don't want to make. So you have to really have a huge awareness as to who you are. So one of the traits are you a people pleaser? And there are a lot of people out there. Would you prefer to please other people than what is going on in yourself? So you need to kind of look at yourself and go, you know what? There is nothing wrong with actually doing great things for other people, as long as it's not a detriment to who you are. Okay? A fear of rocking the boat. This is a big one. I feel as Canadians, period, we have fear of rocking the boat. Americans, they do not have fear of this. They stand up, they're in your face, they're going to tell you exactly what it is. You know, how crazy is it that these countries are so completely different? But yes, a lot of times it's a fear of rocking the boat. And this can happen in families. You know, it's like, I just don't want to say anything. You know, I don't want to say anything to my mother. I don't want to say anything to my sister, whatever it is, because I just don't want to rock the boat. I just want everything to be fine. And yet what happens is you walk away with these awful feelings inside. Okay? You can't let people bring that fear. Okay? A tendency to underreact or overreact. Are you this person that either just doesn't do anything ever, or are you a person that continually just flies off the handle at everything? You really have to look at yourself with this one. I've had many people in my life where there was this coworker that I had when I was at the Marilyn Dennis show, and she overreacted to everything. Everything that happened, it was always like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst segment ever. It's like, no, it's not. Like, let's just calm down. Let's just, it's not the end of the world here. Like, everything is the end of the world. And you all know those people where it's like every single thing, as soon as something happens, they're just like, oh my gosh, I'm just having the worst day ever. This is the worst day of my life. I love that one. This is the worst day of my life. I'm like, really? You didn't get that parking spot? This is the worst day of your life? Like, it's just, they overreact to the simplest of things. You have to be very careful. Toxic people they prey on people like that. The perfect toxic person that preys on anyone that overreacts and underreacts is a narcissist. They love these people. They love them because that's how they can feed into them and manipulate it back to themselves again. This is a classic narcissist look for them. A lack of trust in oneself. If you don't trust your own decisions, well, a toxic person is just going to love you because they can manipulate everything in your life if you don't trust who you are. And of course, a fear of being alone. And I have a girlfriend who is in a toxic marriage. And she will not leave because anytime things have happened and I've had these discussions with her and I've said, I think it's time. And she will say to me, I would rather stay in this than be alone. And I always say to her, how do you know you're going to be alone? Why are you making that the only future you can ever have is alone? So you have to look within yourself. If the only reason why you're staying there is because you are afraid to be by yourself, then you need to start getting more comfortable with who you are and find out who that person is. Okay, so we've just talked a whole lot about toxic people and who they are. Now, how do we deal with them? How do we actually, when we know who these people are and they are in our life, what do we need to do? The first thing, be firm. You have to be firm in what is happening. So like Mia does with her sister that continually comes in with those, rude comments and everything else, she is very firm in how she feels about it. Now, with a toxic person, you being firm, they will come at you even harder. And you know that. You've all had these people in your life. So when they don't respond to like, go away, I'm not dealing with this, don't want you in my life, they will continually come back. They will. That's just who they are. Of course, setting boundaries, and you have to stick with the boundaries. Over time, they're going to sneak back in. They're going to push those boundaries again. And you have to remind yourself over and over again what those boundaries were. So if you are cutting this person out or you don't want them to be a part of your everyday life, maybe your boundary is that, you know what, if it's a family member, I'm just going to see them at holidays. I'm just going to, wish happy birthdays. Then any other things that they bring into your life, you have to shut it down and you have to keep those boundaries up. You have to protect yourself against someone like this. Don't be too nice Oh my gosh, how many of us always make it so okay for them and not okay for us? It's like you're just too nice. Realize that they get their energy from draining your love and good nature. They do. A toxic person preys on kindness because they don't have it. They don't see it in themselves. They don't know how to have it in themselves. So they want it from you. So they're going to constantly keep coming back. So don't be too nice and make it too easy for them. Boundaries and be firm. I'm not saying be an awful human being. Please don't ever take that from what I'm saying. I want you to continue being the kind-hearted human being that you are, but with an awareness as you have these people in your life. Realize, and this is one, guys, I have to tell you, this one has come to me more with age. And because this one, I've always been this person that lost souls seek me out. They just do. I feel like I am that light, and you know how all like the mosquitoes and the bugs are attracted to the light? I am telling you, I am a beacon for lost souls, and they find me. All of them find me. They come to me, and the thing is I had to realize it is not my job to save them. It's not my job. And this one, especially Leanne, I know you're an empath. This is a very hard one because you feel their pain. You feel what they're going through, and all you want to do is make it better. And
Absolutely.
the thing is at the end of the day, you cannot save everyone. You can talk to them, you can give them advice, you can give them the tools, but then you have to do this. You have to set your boundaries and step back and be firm in, now you have it. It is now up to you. This is your journey now. It's not mine. I'm taking my journey. You have to take this journey on your own. So you have to let go. So that's why I talk about be firm and set boundaries before we talk about this one, because you cannot save everyone. And the thing is, as I know for myself, is this one has hurt the most because, you know, there's those people that have come in, those broken, lost souls, and you've done everything in your power to help them and make it better, and for them to have the great, because you can see it. You can see it. You're like, oh my God, you can have the best life ever. You're you're so smart. You're so beautiful. You can do this, but they have to figure it out on their own. And that can be very hard. Sometimes this comes with parents and children as well, where it's like, you know, you have a child and they're going through a very difficult situation, but it's their journey that they have to figure it out. You can give them the tools to do it, but then you have to set the boundary and let them continue themselves, okay? No, when it's done, it's done. When a relationship is over, and a friendship, whatever it is, you need to make that break. And you need to, again, stay firm, set your boundaries, and know when it's done. Don't keep going back in. If it's done, it's done. And if you allow this human being back in, you need to remember who they are, that and bring the tools into it to actually work with this person. But know that it's never going to be your expectation of what you want. We all have our own expectations, but not everyone has ours. That, again, remember, with an expectation, as soon as we all know what our expectations are, but as soon as if this person continually disappoints you on a regular basis, you know that. You know a healthy expectation is people will disappoint you. But the moment you attach an emotion to that, oh my gosh, I'm so hurt that person disappointed me, it then becomes an unhealthy expectation, okay? Because you knew that was going to happen, and now you're letting it affect you. You can't do that. Remember, relationships are your choice, okay? It is your choice who you have in your life. Even when they are a family member, it still comes down to your choice. If this is a toxic relationship, you do not have to have this person in your life. Or you can set those boundaries for only holidays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever it was, their birthday. That is it. I'm not saying that you don't love them, but you do not have to have them in your day-to-day life if this person is destroying it. Okay? and embody positivity. Seriously, stay with who you are. I've been doing these on Saturday mornings, Coffee with Heidi, which I'm going to be doing with all of you guys as well. And we talked about, so someone chimed in and said, you know, Heidi, I consider myself a very positive person, and I keep being told by people that are in my life, I'm just too positive and I need to pipe down. And I said, you're just too positive? Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. Someone's actually telling you being positive is a bad thing? I said, sweetheart, you need to understand that person saying that is coming from their own fear and their own judgment of themselves, that they don't have that in their life. That comes from envy. That comes from all of these very negative things attacking you for doing a good thing. I'm like, sweetie, you just be you. You be you, and if that makes you happy to post things that are positive and to be positive, then you stay strong to who you are, okay? So always embody that. So what I want you to do going forward is, I love this. I put this together. It's the daily positive agreements and permissions that you are going to give yourself on a regular basis. You are going to agree to not give negative people too much attention. Do you remember all that stuff we talked about, the power, how much power you're giving to these people? I want you to keep things brief. Keep it brief. If that person comes into your life and they're negative, toxic, whatever it is, don't engage. Just don't engage in it. Set your boundaries, listen, and be like, so it was great to see you, and then walk away. You agree, and you need to give yourself permission to do this. Do not engage and give them too much attention. Agree to use positivity inspiration to eliminate negativity. So agree to do this. Give yourself permission on a regular basis to listen to great music. Go to the PPA and be inspired by incredible people. Read, I always say to people, you know, you watch those, any sort of biography on someone that's inspiring or a true story. Bring this stuff into your world on a regular basis. So when you're feeling at your lowest, you have it. Give yourself permission to be aware of your own reality. You're not negative, and you don't have to be. Okay? Don't let other people influence you and make you see the glass is half empty. We talked about this before. The glass is refillable, people. So be aware that this is who you are. Like Catherine yesterday when we did the, you know, Coffee with Heidi. It's like, be aware of who you are. You're too positive. Be positive then. You're allowed to be that. Agree to steer away from conflicts. Walking away from a conflict doesn't make you weak. On the contrary, it makes you stronger. These toxic people, they get power from it. They get power from having that dialogue, that conflict from you. They feed off of it. It makes them feel better, especially if they can be right in the conversation. They're going to love that. Okay, so steer away. Give yourself permission to, like, I'm not going to get into this with this person. Give yourself permission to see negative people as opportunities of growth. So change and shift your perspective. That person that has come into your life, you're very aware that, oh my gosh, you're the change maker. You're the convenience one. Take that as a growth, an area of growth for yourself. Give important, positive people permission to be in your life. What happens sometimes is these toxic people take up so much time in our world because they need it. They have to feed off of you, that they take up more time. And then all of those people that are there for us, that are incredibly supportive and they're positive, we don't give them as much time. So make sure that you're giving them more time in your life. And then give yourself permission. This is a big one. You don't have to like everyone. That is a massive one. You do not have to like everyone. And guess what, guys? Everyone does not have to like you. That is a very hard one, especially if you're a people pleaser. It's like, oh my gosh, that's devastating. Sometimes I remember seeing this Seinfeld episode where George was dating this beautiful, beautiful girl, and she was wonderful, and Jerry was dating this masseuse. And the masseuse really could care less for George. She just really didn't like him. And then George just couldn't understand why she wouldn't talk to him or and so he's like, what is it? And she's like, listen, I just don't like you. I just need to tell you I don't like you. And the entire episode, George gave more time to trying to get this person to like him and ended up losing this amazing girlfriend because she's like, what are you talking about? I like you. I think you're amazing. Why are you giving someone more attention that doesn't like you than someone like me, right? So it's like you have to give yourself permission to, you don't have to like everyone and they don't have to like you. Okay, so I want to end this with, I'm going to read you guys this fable, and you may have heard it before, but I absolutely love this fable. So it goes this way. So a young girl was trudging along a mountain path, trying to reach her grandmother's house. It was bitter, cold, and the wind cut like a knife. When she was within sight of her destination, she heard a rustle at her feet. Looking down, she saw a snake. Before she could move, the snake spoke to her. He said, I'm about to die. It is too cold for me up here, and I am freezing. There is no food in these mountains, and I am starving. Please put me under your coat and take me with you. No, replied the girl. I know your kind. You are a rattlesnake. If I pick you up, you will bite me, and your bite is poisonous. No, no, said the snake. If you help me, you will be my best friend, and I will treat you differently. The little girl sat down on a rock for a moment to rest and think things over. She looked at the beautiful markings on the snake and had to admit that it was the most beautiful snake she had ever seen. Suddenly, she said, I believe you. I will save you. All living things deserve to be treated with kindness. The little girl reached over, put the snake gently under her coat, and proceeded towards her grandmother's house. Within a moment, she felt a sharp pain in her side. The snake had bitten her. How could you do this to me? She cried. You promised that you would not bite me, and I trusted you. You knew what I was when you picked me up, hissed the snake, and he slithered away. Even great acts of kindness will not dissuade those with malicious intentions. A snake does not have conscience or morals. A snake bites you because it's a snake by nature. That's how these predators operate. Don't stop being kind, but be aware of who you are dealing with. Isn't that such a great fable?
Yes.
That like literally just epitomizes everything we just talked about. So how are you guys feeling after, like, did this one, has it touched you? Were you uncomfortable with some things that I said? How are you guys feeling?
Well, I think there's a lot to consider too. And one of the things I was thinking about was there are those individuals in our lives, and then I've actually come across people that have multiple traits, or sometimes they're one type of toxic person, sometimes they're another type of toxic person. That's definitely the person I try to avoid, especially if they're like that all the time.
Wow. Do you feel better, Catherine, knowing more about who these individuals are and why they are that way? And do you feel better, having these people in your life or coming across them now?
I feel like I would have more confidence in dealing with them and not taking the things that they do or say as personally as I may have done in the past.
100%, because a lot of times their actions have absolutely nothing to do with you. Their actions have everything to do with themselves, 100%. And they lack what you have. So it's like they will continually bringing you into their life to make themselves feel better.
Yeah.
Definitely. That was really great, Catherine. Leanne, how are you doing?
Same. I think it opens my eyes a lot, but I found, it might have looked like I was zoning a bit, but as you were speaking, I was putting myself in different scenarios because I can identify, and I was always well aware of my surroundings because again, I attract these kind of people. And I've dealt with them pretty much my whole life. But as getting older into relationships And just with you speaking, it's like, yeah, okay, I check. And it's like, so it does truly open up my mind, and moving forward gives me a good grasp on how to, handle different situations. So yeah, very moving.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Victoria, how are you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing good. It's something that you have to just keep practicing, I think.
Yes.
Mhm.
And we do fall back sometimes, and you just
Mhm.
have to think about it and then try and turn it around again.
Exactly. You know what? I love that you said it comes down to practice, Victoria. I think that was a really powerful word that you just said, because it does come back to practice. Because we have to remember that, yes, we can fall back. And the reason why we do fall back, guys, is because we love these people. Because,
Mhm.
love, a lot of times they are, friends and family members are in our lives because we care for them. So, yes, we can fall back, but it's always, I always feel, as long as you are walking forward with, your glasses on, your contacts on, you got your 20/20 vision happening, and you know who these people are, you are aware of what is happening, you are aware that, this toxic behavior can easily trigger this in me. So it's that awareness of who they are, so that when those things happen, you, one, make a plan, walk away. Don't get into that argument. Whatever it is, it's like, make sure you're always putting yourself first. You're not rehashing. You're not giving them power when you're away from them. You're not getting into that complaining. You're limiting yourself, all of that stuff. You need to put all of these tools into place. So I am so glad that this one was such awareness for everyone. And like Victoria said, let's all practice. Let's all
Mhm.
practice with these toxic people, especially over the holidays. You're going to have some of these people in your life. Let's be aware of it. And Leanne, everything you're going through right now, I
Mhm.
think this is a great equipment for you and tools to get through what you're going through, because you are dealing with very toxic people,
Absolutely.
and you're not one of them.
Oh, thank
Yes,
God.
yes, excellent. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. Go and have a fantastic Sunday
Okay,
afternoon.
you too. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay. I'll see you guys. So Tuesday at 6:30. Okay. Bye.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Victoria.